Hey everyone, welcome back to VinterGard. Today we're tackling the enemy of every park builder, empty awkward space. I'm going to show you how flat rides have helped me add density and bring an area to life. We're building the Yala Horn and a harbor side swing to improve the park. So let's get building. Before we get into the actual base used for this flat ride, I had to go through quite a few different test scenery pieces, and finally I had actually realized the toy box pack has those wooden blocks that worked perfectly, and you guys will see that in a little bit here. This happens every time with any build, like a flat ride or a restaurant, anything like that. There's so many different things you have to see what works before you finalize on something. And I was just showing a little example of that right now. I had the shape and the idea, the image in my head, but for whatever reason, I couldn't get it down after maybe 3 or 4 tries with different scenery pieces. But like I had said, I'd finalized on the toy box pack, remembering that we have these block pieces right here. They're perfect to create that base, because then afterwards we can actually start to add trim around it or layer as much as we want to finally get that look that I was trying to achieve. And that was this Nordic type of horn that was used by Heimdall. And since we are right across from Heimdall's coaster and Heimdall's hall, and I had this empty space right here that I could have filled with trees or foliage, but it didn't feel complete. I felt like after coming out of Main Street, you're just seeing the coaster, Heimdall's Hall, but then you have to walk a little bit farther, and then after that you are finally getting another coaster, and then there is a flat ride at the end of the port or dock. It didn't seem like it was a fun experience. I feel like you need a little bit more attractions, more excitement as you're weaving through an amusement park. And this is something that I've realized in different park builds. If you have this like empty space, empty areas, it is sometimes easy to put a small flat ride, or you can even build a mini coaster. Like it could be a kid-friendly coaster. It's such an easy way to fill those areas that might look too bare, or you just put foliage, and that works a lot of times. Sometimes you just want to create a scene or a really cool looking point. But in this game, it is hard to get guests to, go to a certain vista point or something like that unless you put something there. It could be like what I did with the lighthouse. I had placed a flat ride at the end of the dock, and it forces guests to come over there. Or it can be a restaurant or a coffee shop. One I've used many times is a coffee shop, actually. And so before I go there, right here, I realized that the shape of the horn really wasn't coming through the way I would have liked it to be. And after some testing, this was the final look. Starting at a smaller block piece and then gradually increasing the size as it goes up. It does look a little bit like a telescope right now, but trust me, after some of the layering and trims go onto it, you'll kind of see the vision I had, and it really comes through. So adding this toy box piece right here really helped. Gave that exact look at the end of the horn where your sound comes out of. I was really happy that actually the toy box piece came in so handy, and this is what I mean by there's so much flexibility in this game when it comes to taking different scenery pieces and making it work for you and using it for what it might not have been intended for. It is so handy. And right here again, doing the same thing, taking a cog that is usually used for, what would be a machinery look, or you're probably going for something steampunk. But it went perfectly for the horn look I was going for. Adding these rivets at the top part of the horn, and then right here we're taking another cog and just taking the end pieces and having it stick out of the I forget the name of the scenery piece that is out of the mythology pack. I said it earlier, it is so handy to get your base down and then go and add your details, add your different layers on there, because you guys saw it at the start. There wasn't much going on here. It was just some blocks. But now you see some of that vision come through. For me, adding that little piece of, I guess you would call it just a metal hook. It's as if, you know, this horn is being used by a giant. Some gods are portrayed as larger than life characters. So this flat ride being a larger than life horn was perfect. But making sure that, you know, that vision, that idea of, will it work? I believe I just saw a video done by, what is his name? Benji's Adventures, where he had taken the flat ride that is a coaster that just goes in a circle, but he made a washing machine out of it. A genius way to take something that is a pretty simple flat ride if you think about it. It's a coaster that just goes in a 360-degree circle over and over. But he took that and portrayed a washing machine as if you are in there and you're the laundry being mixed around. It's perfect. There's so many different examples of that with so many different creators on YouTube or in Discord where people will share. You have so much range in this game, and again, for me, taking that range, taking creativity, seeing what you have, like whatever you want to do. If you have a vision that you want to turn this coffee shop into an actual like espresso bar, and you can make like a steam piece, like you can take a I believe they're the, what set was that, maybe the sci-fi set, and take one of those barrels and just have it come out at the top, make it look like the building is having steam come out of it, as if you're making an espresso or steaming some milk. There's so many cool things you can do. Here I'm really trying to sell the look that these are the, you know, parts where Heimdall's holding the horn. Very crucial, because to sell what you're trying to do, you can add so many different details like I'm doing right here. It helps a lot, it really does. Then comes the challenge of if you want to cover up the functionality part of a flat ride. For me, it was really important to do so because I was trying to sell this look that not only is there a larger than life horn sitting here, but it's being held up by, basically you can say, a stand or a mount. And when Heimdall comes over here to use the horn, he will slightly just nudge the horn upwards and back and do what he needs to. It's perfect because when this ride actually starts going, that's what happens. It will slightly come up a little bit and go a little bit backwards. Really sells the look of, you know, the horn being used, and then of course it does spin around, but that's just the fun of the ride. The overall look, what I was going for, now that I have that, now it's time to fill in the area, make it work, and try to avoid using the base of the flat rides. Something I really wish we had an option for in Planet Coaster 2. And I don't know how much of a priority that is for Frontier to do, honestly, is if we can get rid of these platforms that come with flat rides, as well as with coasters, maybe minimizing the size of the stations. But of course, like you see here, it is an easy fix as well. You can take like the wall pieces. I took the, I believe, stone ruin pieces and just enlarge them and use them as the floor piece. because I don't think we have that many non-gridded floor pieces except for the wooden ones. But using the walls is just as easy, and you can do so much with it. Right here, since the ride does spin around, I realized that it clips through the walls. So I took out some of the wall pieces on both sides, as you can see in the background there of the clip, and just made it look like it's basically broken through the wall, taking some of those mythology set pieces and adding the broken stones was an easy fix, as you guys saw there, and it really does work. And you know, at the end of the day, you're really trying to sell this story and this certain look that you might have. So really happy with the way the whole base, everything has turned out. Now it's time to get the outside done. For the queue, I wanted it to be kind of covered up. Since you are pretty close to the flat ride, a little bit of safety would be important, right? And just adding some lamps under those canopies to really not just sell the whole Nordic vibe, because for me, the fire lamps and lanterns really have helped throughout VinterGard actually. So just adding a couple of those under there and having the queue come out from, I believe you guys will see that in a little bit actually. It'll come straight from, I believe, the archway out of the Grand Terminus station area. Now, for me, the seat scenery wasn't not important. I wouldn't say that's the right word, but it wasn't the main point of my build here. But I did want to make sure that it kind of matched the vibe. So I just made a very basic, simple wooden seating area with some of those LED bar lights. At night, it looks cool, especially when they're spinning around and such. But again, so happy with the way everything turned out. Since we are still close to Main Street, and there is this archway that comes out of the Grand Terminus station area, I thought it'd be pretty fitting to take some of those smaller Main Street buildings and just fill in some more spaces. Thankfully, it doesn't create for too much congestion in the area, but it makes a smoother transition coming out of Main Street into this area and then as you go towards Ayerspoort. Speaking of Ayerspoort, for our second flat ride, I had this space almost across from the lighthouse as well as right across from Njord's coaster. I could have left it as is, add some more rocks and trees, but I thought, well, let's fill this area up since the guest will be coming this area for our next attraction, almost a coaster or a track ride. I'm still deciding on that. And I named it Njord's Gift. Since we are right across from his coaster, why not have the Viking ship flat ride? I know it's called something else, but I themed it as if it was directly from him, using these same ship scenery pieces and such. Very quick build, but it was so much fun to do. And now we will get into the walkthrough, so I will see you guys there. And there we have it, you guys. Two of our newest attractions in some of our more empty spaces. And I think I did this in the last episode too, where we just kind of looked over VinterGard and what's been happening so far. And I just keep shocking myself that we really filled up the space. We started right over here and slowly moved our way, and I'm so happy and proud of what's been done so far. It really has been a awesome journey. But I'll get right onto the ground level and we'll check it out in daytime, and then we'll check it out again at night, or we'll transition to night when it gets around to the queue area. But it was a pretty empty space. I think there was a few trees and some bushes here. And I felt like Heimdall's story wasn't enough with just a coaster, because this hall right across from the flat ride right now was so cool. But I really felt like it needed more. We could have, maybe added another coaster, but I thought at the same time that might be too much. So I did a little bit of, just looking around on Heimdall, the story behind him, and saw that he has this horn called a yellow horn. Thought it was perfect. Next, had to figure out what flat ride I can kind of mimic the horn. Very challenging in trying to figure that out. I think you guys saw that. I'm not the most I don't want to say professional, but I'll say it. I'm not the most professional builder out there. There's some amazing people that can get such cool things done. I'm gonna get away from that horn. I'm sorry. Just a quick side note. I took some custom media and added a Viking horn to the flat ride. There was no sound effect or ambiance kind of sound in the game, so I thought, why not add my own? Now that I'm hearing it, it's cool, but I wish I could maybe space it to go off every 20-30 seconds, because I believe the flat ride itself is only 175 seconds. We're just gonna go right back this way, and I'll show you the other side that the guests see. And you guys also get to see Main Street. I think it's been a while. It's such a cool place, but right now I think Ayerspoort is my favorite place in the park for now. So as the guests have the option to come from this side, there's the Grand Terminus Station. And then we had one of these archways right here. It's got... Do I have my flashlight on? No. We have Frozen Ridge and Steam Lake. I need to change the Steam Lake to Ayerspoort. I will definitely do that after the episode. And Frozen Ridge will be the next section we build on. So as the guests come this way, we had added some more of those smaller Main Street buildings. So as you guys see, it's not very congested. I think it works perfectly since we are so close to Main Street. And this is where they'll queue up. Before that horn goes off again, we're gonna just change the lighting to nighttime lighting. And add some snow, because you guys know snow works really well in this area. Not so well in the Ayerspoort area. Okay, so get back on the ground level here. Yeah, I love the way the lights just turn on after you pause. Or unpause. So this is where they'll head through. And tell me those cliffs in the background don't look so cool with the snow settled on there too. Yeah, I'm just really happy with all of VinterGard at the moment. So we have Heimdall's Hall right there. Larger than anything kind of building in the park, and it looks so cool. So having the Yalla horn be as large as it is was perfect. It was super necessary. And these were the heat lamps, the fire lamps that I had added under the canopies connected to the beams or the supports. I think it goes so well, especially with the braziers in each corner of the flat ride. I'm sorry if that horn sound is annoying you guys, because I'm getting a little bit annoyed by it. So I will look into changing that. But this was some of those spaces within the flat ride that we had filled in with some more scenery. Almost got clipped by the flat ride. And this was the just a little employee's hut. And we've got their checklist for the next employee, any maintenance issues, some venting. I think it looks great, and something I want to keep consistent with in future builds. I'm just going to pause that so the horn doesn't go off too much. And this right here, actually I have to unpause it so you see what I mean. So as the flat ride comes through, this wall was just getting completely clipped, but just by a few inches we got pretty lucky in taking some of it off, adding this broken rock pieces along the edges. It worked so well. And I'm just going to speed this up so that we see what it looks like when it's at still. And the braziers, the heat, the fire in the braziers, as well as this sorcery piece smoke, starts right when the flat ride starts. I think it was very fitting and cool looking that it almost activates when the horn goes off. It's like when war begins or you're getting attacked by the enemy, they'll light a brazier that there's an attack on the city or something like that. So I thought, why not do the same thing here, where the flat ride starting, the horn goes off and the braziers turn on. Honestly, you guys, sometimes I shock myself when I'm talking about these things because some of the ideas came to me as I'm building this flat ride, but I'm so happy it turned out the way it did. So this is the exit area, and over there is where you guys just saw the queue. So as the guests head this way, we've got all of this, and it really looks cool from a distance, as you guys see. And that lighting, those LED lights on the seats, I think came out really nicely. And right here we do have empty space, and I'm thinking about adding just a small garden with maybe a gazebo in the center. Just a seating area for guests to take a break. And we'll just quickly go ahead, turn off that snow. Make it sunny or clear. Okay. So last time we had taken care of Niord's Gale. And as we head through Ayers Port, and I said this before, this is my favorite area in VinterGard right now. The sound effects of those pelicans and the water hitting the walls. It's just such a cool place, and an area I would 100%, if I was living near, I would come visit every weekend. I just can't stop staring at that lighthouse too. So as the guests come right through Ayers Port, and this is something they will have to do if they don't take the train. They can either go right, and to the right will be Frozen Ridge. And we might change the name of Frozen Ridge, just like we did with Steam Lake. It was before Steam Lake, now it's Ayers Port. If I find a name more fitting for Frozen Ridge, I will change that. Ignore that over there. We'll get into that in a bit. So this is where Niord's Gift is. And I just did a little just teaser, I guess you could say, of a Viking longship, just a shell of it. And over here, you guys are seeing the just Ayers Port. And what I wanted to get into is those same plaster walls that we used on the walls for the port are being used right there on the base of the flat ride. I wanted to make sure that we kept in theme because we are in that area. Not to get too, not off topic, but away from what's going on in Ayers Port. But adding the wooden beams and netting and some of those Viking fences along, I think kind of made it its own, but keeping in theme with the whole area. I'm really happy with the way that turned out. So we'll head right over into that. And as they weave around this small little path and queue, we've got some more of those Viking actually no, I don't think these are Viking. These might be the I don't want to say tropical, but I believe it's one of those Planet Coaster fences. We've got another teaser for what Niord basically builds, and you guys have seen a similar setup for this at the top of Niord's coaster at the cliff, right at the first drop actually, I believe. Right there. So we've got something like that right here just to fill in that space, but I think it came along nicely because it's a smaller version of what the flat ride is. And the guests will queue right into this area. And again, another flat ride that, and I think that goes for a lot of the flat rides in the game. They're exciting if you're there in real life. Maybe you're at a state fair, carnival, or even amusement park. They're pretty fun to do, but in the game, it's not the most exciting. There are some, actually, I shouldn't say that. There's some flat rides that are pretty cool. I'm just going to take a quick ride of that, because there's a view that I saw that I believe looks cool if you're in the right seat. Why am I so, like, high up? Is it me, or are we just very high up right now? Okay, let's see if we just speed that up. Oh, there we go, okay. We just had to have guests in there. So, hopefully this starts. So if you're sitting in this seat, or any of these left side of the ride seats, you're getting a pretty cool angle of the lighthouse and the port, as well as a coaster and you're actually seeing the clock tower at the start of the park. This was really important for me when I was building VinterGard. I didn't want too much to get blocked off by maybe these cliffs or so much nature and foliage and trees like those right there. I was worried that I might create, you know, blocked views or stuff like that. But seeing this made me really happy, to be honest. And hopefully we can keep that going for the rest of the park. Let's go ahead and get on the ground level from where the guest will exit. So as they exit off there... What was that scream? You guys hear that? Someone's a little too scared of that. So they'll exit the same way they entered. And right into Ayers Port. Love the sounds of those pelicans of water. This will be our next episode right here. So just as we do in each episode, we kind of tease what's happening in the next one. If I'm consistent in making sure I keep up with my ideas, which I think I will be. It'll be my first time trying the interactive shooting ride. I'm very excited. I'm excited because I've never built with this attraction yet. And I'm so excited to see what kind of theme, how the guest POV will be, what they're going to be shooting at, what that can be, making sure it's aligned with the whole Nordic story, whole theme that we're going for here. So looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to getting your guys' reaction for that. I think it'll be kind of fun. And just a few fun scenery pieces in the background. These are the ones provided by the Frontier. I think they just kind of sell the story that this is, you know, gonna be a little intimidating. You're gonna be shooting at things, and I have some ideas. I might go with something with Valkyries, but not fully sold on it yet. And then we do have to finish off the Grand Terminus train track. We'll have that once we start Frozen Ridge area. We'll just keep it going all the way over to there. And there we have it, you guys. I'm so excited with the way everything has turned out in this park so far, but the way we've been able to kind of sell the story of how flat rides can really help us. And maybe not saying sell the story, but how it's helped me. And it's helped me not just in this park, but many parks. And I'm sure you guys do it too. But I just wanted to show you guys my kind of thinking that goes behind using flat rides in amusement parks. But all in all, I'm so excited and I'm so proud of what's been made here, and I cannot wait to show you guys the next episode and the many more that come after that. And very thankful for you guys joining me in this journey. I've said it before, but I'm gonna say it every episode. Thank you for, you know, we're almost closing in on 100 subscribers here, and it's so cool that almost 100 of you guys have joined me on this, and I hope you guys have enjoyed the videos because I've been enjoying making them so much. I've learned so much from this, and I hope I've, you know, been a little relief in, not relief, that might not be the right word, but just a little bit different in some way when it comes to simulation games. And thank you guys. And until next time, I hope you're having a wonderful day as well as a wonderful week. Take care. Bye.